All right, it is Thursday, April 21st, and we have a lot to talk about. Stocks are mixed. The Dow yesterday was up, Nasdaq down. The earnings roller coaster continues. Netflix is getting crushed. We'll take a look at this. But then we have others reporting. IBM, Procter Gamble, they helped yesterday, moving the Dow higher. Tesla and United Airlines reported earnings after the bell. We'll take a look at this. Plus, we'll show you how we traded yesterday. But before we dive in and show you what's moving the markets, if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Markus Heitkoetter. That super smart guy over there is my head coach, Mark Hodge. And together we have more than 47 years of trading experience. And every morning we sift through a mountain of news websites, newsletters, and reports. And then we take the most important news and go live right here to share with you what you need to know as you head into your trading day. If this is your first time here, I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. Don't worry, we have a special video just for you that I will link to in the description. And that's a great place to get started. But you see, before we take a look at the charts and how we're trading the markets, let me just share with you something really quick. So, you see, I love sitting on my front porch. And no, not like this. Remember the movie, Mark? Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood? I'm not that grumpy, at least not yet. Maybe
Not
in a few
yet.
years. Who knows? Anyhow, so there's a lot of land around the house and a lot of Texas wildlife. So we have a road runner with fox, rabbits, skunks, and deer. Lots of deer. And you see, the deer usually visit in the morning and in the evening. And it's really cool to sit on the front porch and watch the deer. They just walk around all day and eat. Yeah, of course, they're a little bit skittish, but if you think about it, they really have a simple life. Right, Mark? I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty simple. And I know that we can have such a simple life, but I also think that often we make things too complicated. Don't you think, Mark? I mean, sometimes when I look back, I
Absolutely.
think, does it really have to be that complicated? Same with trading. I remember when I was plotting all of these indicators on the chart, and when I thought I had to subscribe to a bunch of newsletters and needed to know more because I thought knowledge is power when it comes to trading. No, knowledge is confusing. And when I bought a bunch of courses and watched countless hours of videos, I really thought that trading cannot be simple, that it must be complicated. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, Mark, if you think about it, these days our trading approach is simple. You could even say it's boring, right? Because all we do is selling puts, getting assigned or not. If you are assigned, we're selling calls. The end. And you see,
Yeah.
with this super simple approach, I mean, I'm making more money than I ever did when I tried to make things more complicated. Way more money. And I'll link to a video at the end of this video here so that you see how I'm doing this exactly. Anyhow, just wanted to share what I thought about when sitting on the front porch and watching the deer. Sometimes it's good to be reminded of the simple things.
Now, I do know there's a little story that you've told the mastermind group, though, about this woodpecker. That might be for another day, but I know you're not always ungrumpy
The
when you're out there on the porch.
woodpecker. Please. Okay. That's a story for another day. That's a good story. All right. Let's take a look at the markets. Let's bring up the Dow first. So the Dow yesterday, solid.
Yeah, and this is where it's earnings. It's earnings, earnings, earnings. So of course there's the Fed and inflation and there's Powell today, but the focus has been on earnings recently, and the Dow gained yesterday, finishing higher, up 0.7%, helped by Procter and Gamble and IBM.
Yeah, so Procter and Gamble reported earnings and they were up 2.7%. IBM, super surprised. I mean, IBM yesterday, look at this. I mean, up 7%. That's a huge move
Wow.
for IBM.
Oh,
That's big.
big time.
So this is what obviously helped the Dow. And then on the other hand, we have the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq, it's a tale of two markets. I mean, it was down yesterday 1.2%.
Yeah, the exact opposite of what the Dow is doing. And it was the same reason, earnings, but this time Netflix being a huge drag on the NASDAQ. I mean, Netflix just getting hammered.
Yeah, I mean, they reported a subscriber loss. We covered it yesterday in detail, so you can take a look at this video if you want to. But yeah, even this morning, down another 3.5%. And it's also interesting because if you think about it, last time Netflix had this huge loss, right, and then hasn't recovered from this. And this were also last time we saw that shortly afterwards, Facebook also reacted. So this is where we had yesterday a strong reaction in Facebook, right? We got investors thought, let's see. I mean, if Netflix gives us surprises, maybe Facebook does the same thing. So Facebook dragged down yesterday almost 8%, 7.77%. Sounds almost
Yeah,
like a number.
I also saw that there was some investment research company that also was predicting that their earnings are much worse than what was forecasted. I mean, so you could say, hey, Netflix did it. Maybe Facebook's going to have some issues, but there was some speculation that things are not going to be that hot.
Yeah, and this is where I mean, here on Slick Charts, we see the Nasdaq 100 companies and the weighting, right? And we see that okay, Meta, Facebook is weighted here with 3.4%. So if that is down 7%, and then we have also Netflix. I mean, they're weighted here by their market capitalization. And I mean, yesterday Netflix lost a third of its market capitalization, so that's huge.
Huge.
Might have dropped a few percent, but even if you're if you're weighted here with only 1.1%, if you're losing 36%, you're dragging the index down. Even if you're here in 20th, I mean, that's definitely happening. So yeah, and that's exactly what you said. Right now, all eyes are on earnings. I mean, everything else is a little bit in the background, and then yesterday, everybody was waiting on Tesla earnings. So we got to take a look at Tesla. And Tesla, boom, blew it out of the water. Elon did it again.
Yeah, and mental note, next time Elon Musk tries to buy a multi-billion-dollar company, Tesla earnings are probably going to be good. So Tesla reported just blew the awesome earnings. That's all I could say. They reported $3.22 a share. They were expecting $2.26 a share. So that's a big jump. Also revenue of 18.76 billion, with adjusted income of 3.7 billion in the first quarter. This was higher than the 2.6 billion that analysts were expecting. So they came out with a cool 1 billion more than people were expecting.
Yeah, but I think the important thing here is really the profits. I mean, the profits 50% higher. And especially Elon has been very vocal and saying the supply chain issues are real. And last year, Tesla has been raising prices, I think, 5 or 6 times? And so this is where they can maintain their profit margin. And that is huge, where you are facing these supply chain issues. And even with these higher prices, still, I mean, selling like crazy. I mean, Tesla's revenue is up 81% from last year. I mean, almost doubled it here. That's crazy.
Impressive. And he did say that Tesla remains on track to reach volume production of the Cybertruck in 2023. So a lot of people anxious to see that Cybertruck out, and it seemed like, was it going to be available? Were they going to scrap it? But he says that they remain on track.
Yeah, and I mean, he also said the robot that they're developing, the humanoid robot, that they're doubling and tripling down on this, because he said eventually that will be bigger than the car business. That's his prediction.
That's interesting.
But
that's interesting.
you know that he's scared of all the AI and thinks all the time that things can go wrong. So this is why this robot cannot move faster than 2 miles per hour. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
No. He's limited, that he cannot move faster than 2 miles per hour, because he said it should be possible for a human to always outrun the robot. I mean, it might be 3 miles per hour, something like this. Anyhow, it was the idea. It is limited so that humans can outrun, because he believes that something goes wrong. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay, more earnings, because this week the focus is definitely on earnings. United Airlines.
Yeah,
they reported earnings yesterday. No, also after the bell yesterday.
Wow. $50.65 pre-market up. That's 8% plus,
8%?
almost 9%.
Because I mean, they reported a loss, but they said we're going back to profitability. And same American Airlines this morning. I mean, this morning you have to move the chart here. Look at this. I mean, up this morning pre-market 10%. Same deal. Yeah, reporting a loss for the quarter, but saying that they go back to profitability. And Delta Airlines kicked that off last week, basically saying, "Yep, we're
Yep.
doing good. We're doing good here. As airlines, we're hanging in there."
Yeah, and that's huge because we know that business travel is so important for the airlines, and the pandemic just really put a damper on profitability and airlines being able to make a profit, and they had the bailout, and so getting back to profitability is key. But it looks like travel's up, travel's doing well, and airlines are now getting the benefit of it.
Well, plus they're getting a little bit of tailwind from the mask mandate being scrapped. I think when was it breaking news on Monday
Yeah.
that no more masks on planes. I think it was Monday evening. I mean the ruling is appealed in court right now, but for now at airports and in airlines, no more mask mandates. And I know that many people say I'm not getting on a plane as long as I have to wear a mask. So that's a little bit of tailwind here. We'll see how this works out. So, I mean, Mark, with all this, I mean, we've been talking about earning. What's happening to inflation and interest rates? I thought that this was the big concern, at least last week before we started the earnings deal, right? I mean, these were huge.
Yeah,
What's in the
and
background right
the
now?
10-year yield pulled back a little bit yesterday, but we're still seeing the yields higher, up even today. And we'll hear from Powell this afternoon.
Yeah, let's switch over and take a look at the economic calendar. So this here in PowerX Optimizer. So today we will hear from Powell. So he is speaking later this afternoon. Where is it at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund?
Yeah, it's a debate on the global economy, and that will be at 1 p.m. Eastern, like you said. So,
So, and this will be super interesting because recently we have some Fed members divided. We have Bullard who said, okay, we got to raise interest rates more aggressively. And he said, well, we can even think about 3/4 of a percentage point for the next. And this is when you have other Fed members who said, you know what, it's all good. And we get inflation under control and the whole recession. So, right today, traders want to know where does Powell stand? Is he in the camp that says, well, we need to be more aggressive, or is he in the camp where he said, oh, everything will be fine? So this is what could move the markets today. All right. So we'll take a look at the pre-market action here in a moment, but let's talk about yesterday's trade. So I traded Nvidia yesterday. Let me just get rid of the volume here, and I sold the 195 put. So let me just bring this in there because that's where I saw some nice support actually here at around 215. And I was able to sell the 195. I really like that idea. So it's probably somewhere around here. Let me just mark it. I should have done this a little bit earlier, but hey, now you know how to do it. So very easily, you do this. You put a text in there where you say, okay, sold 195 put expiring. And I went out to next week, expiring April 29th. And you probably spell expiring slightly different. There we go. Okay, so let's make this also a little bit bigger so that everybody can see it. So this gave me some nice premium, and I want to be exact here at 195. Okay, now you know how you can annotate on the chart. Because yesterday I was able to collect $2.10 in premium,
not bad.
which is really good, right? So I mean, if you were trading 5 contracts, that's $1,000 for a week. It's not bad at all.
That
So
works.
on the other hand, you did not take the trade because right now you are in AMD, and AMD is super highly correlated to Nvidia. Obviously, I mean same industry here.
Yeah, yeah, and so AMD, I was looking. We opened higher yesterday, and I was looking at selling calls, but then we pulled back quickly. So still looking to sell some calls on AMD. I'll be looking for next Friday now, and up pre-market, up 1% pre-market. But I'd like to see AMD get back closer to 100.
Yeah. Well, talking about pre-market, let's take a look at where we stand this morning. So it seems that this morning Nasdaq comes out swinging. So we're looking at the 5-minute chart of the Nasdaq futures, and right now up 1.2%. So overnight, a little bit choppy and volatile, but definitely moving higher. So a rebound from yesterday thus far. And then on the other hand, the Dow also up. Yes, pretty much all three major indices point to a higher opening here.
Looks like it.
All right. Now, as promised, I will link to a video right here where I show you the results that I've achieved thus far in the first quarter trading the wheel strategy. Take a look at this, and if you're interested, check out the other videos that we have here, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.